Alright, so I've gotten some questions about how I set up the quick select, or what is optimal to set up for your quick select when running Ratchet 1 New Game Plus. There's no real right or wrong answer. I'm just going to kind of go into details as to why I have mine set up the way that I do and some of the thought process behind me going this route. So the first 7 things we have listed are your basic NG Plus essentials. So starting off, on top and bottom, the two most commonly used things in the run, the PDA and the Walloper. The PDA being by far the most used item in the game. You pretty much want it to be as easily accessible as possible, so that's why I opted for straight up. You can very easily, if you need it in a pinch, you know, just triangle up. Very simple, no fumbling with the analog stick or anything like that. And same goes for the Walloper. If you lose your speed, very easily accessible. Yeah, so these are by far the two most common things, so that's kind of why I opted for that. I know some people actually have the PDA on far right, because that's where it is in all gold bolts. I know people who have had it on, you know, whatever, between north and east, fucking northeast, dude, that's crazy, no way. Which is where it is in any percent, if you do the PDA only route. I personally would advise against that. If it feels comfortable, then don't listen to me. But I don't know. That seems a bit of a awkward stretch to have to go that way. And sometimes when you're in a pinch, having to roll the analog stick, and yeah. Obviously, if you want to, feel free to swap these. Go right ahead. I know plenty of people who have Walloper at top, which again, you know, I guess find some preference there, but that's just kind of how I've had it and how I rolled with it. Alright, so on the other two main directions, the decoy, which is used on about 3 or 4 planets, definitely, you know, it's usually like on planets that maybe you need a bit of... Actually, I guess that's not true. Okay, never mind. Forget what I was about to say. I'm being crazy. Yeah, it's not too commonly used, but it is used enough to where I warranted putting it on a cardinal direction. And the Tesla Claw, same thing. It's only used on a couple spots, mostly on Pokitaru. If you use it for train skip, which some people still do, then it's there. If you fuck up a decoy clip and you need to destroy it really fast and put a new one down, then yeah, it's just it actually honestly does, even though you don't use it that much, it is nice having the Tesla Claw on a cardinal direction. Again, very accessible if you need it for whatever reason. Alright, so these last 3. Drone device is only used on Gemlik. I personally use it on Kerwan, just for the opening segment. Just, I don't know, that's just something I've kind of always done. I find I have less problems with movement to Al Shack, but I'm pretty much the only one who does that, so you can probably ignore that. Devastator is used a couple spots, but it's not too often, and the couple spots are pretty much all on like 1 or 2 planets, so it's not that important. It's pretty much, it's there whenever you need it. And same thing goes for the Visibomb. It's pretty much only used on Pokitaru, or if you're setting up train skip, again, there's a method for that. So, but they're pretty much only used on those 2 planets, so not as important. Alright, so this last slot, you can either put the Rhino here, or you can put the Pyrocitor here. Now, I personally opt for the Rhino, because I use the Rhino on Core 2. If you fumble your menuing a little bit, which, I mean, happens sometimes on Novalis, you don't have to go, because you need the Rhino to finish Novalis, so you don't have to either kill your run or fumble with the weapons menu to go all the way down and select it, you know? There's also a tiny little strat that I saw Franzcore do, and I kind of stole from him at the start of Poketaru, where you actually shoot the Rhino as you go into the Guy cutscene. So, I kind of like it for that. I've always done that. I was like, that's really cool, and it seems pretty fast to me. The Pyro is pretty much only used on Poketaru, and the Tesla Claw already does a pretty good job of crowd killing, and just, you know, the Tesla Claw is pretty much better for Poketaru in any way. So the Pyro is just like a preference thing. I would say experiment with it if you like Pyro on Poke. I know some people do. Go for it. If you don't really see a point of having the Rhino and you find it's more beneficial to have the Pyro, that's totally fair. That's just kind of why I choose what I choose and why I have things set it up the way that I do.